NCERT video welcomes you. Today we are going to start Chapter 2 Oceans and Continents. Let's start Chapter 2 Oceans and Continents. The ocean is everything. It covers 7/10 of the terrestrial globe. Its breath is pure and healthy. It is an immense desert where man is never lonely, for he feels life stirring all around. The ocean is the vast reservoir of nature. The globe began with the ocean, so to speak, and who knows if it will not end with it. Jules Verne, 1870. The big questions. 1. What are oceans and continents? What are their names and their distribution? 2. In what ways do oceans and continents impact life on Earth, including human life? Figure 2.1. The Earth seen from space, photographed by Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter. The view is centered on the Pacific Ocean, with Africa to the left, India and part of Asia at the top, Australia to the right, and Antarctica at the bottom. Let us return to our globe and rotate it gently, or look at the picture of the Earth seen from the moon. What is the most widespread color you see? Blue, obviously. But what does it represent? You must have guessed the answer. It is water. This means that most of the Earth's surface is actually covered with water. Almost three-fourths of the surface, in fact. That is why, when seen from the outer space, the Earth appears mostly blue. Indeed, early astronauts lovingly called the Earth the blue planet. The largest water bodies we see on the globe are called oceans. But in the picture of the Earth, figure 2.1, you can see at least one other color, brown. This color is that of land, which covers a little over one-fourth of the globe. A large body of land is called a landmass, and a large continuous expanse of land is called a continent. Both oceans and continents play a vital role in shaping the climate of the earth. They affect all aspects of life, including all plants and animals, and therefore humans' life too. We see their impact throughout our history and culture and in our daily lives. Don't miss out. The emblem of the Indian Navy contains the motto Sam no Varuna, pronounced as Sam no Varuna, which means be auspicious to us. O Varun, this is an invocation to Varuna, a Vedic deity associated with the oceans, the sky, and water in general. Here it is written Sam no Varuda. The distribution of water and land on the earth. As it happens, oceans and continents are not distributed equally between the northern and southern hemisphere. You can see it here. Figure 2.2 maps of the earth as seen from above the North Pole left and above the South Pole right. You can see more land mass toward northern hemisphere. Let us examine the two maps in figure 2.2. Here too, the blue areas consist of oceans along with their smaller extension which have various names sea, bay, gulf, etc. Definition of these terms are in the glossary at the end of this textbook. You can see definition of sea, bay and gulf at the end of this textbook. Bay, a broad inlet of the sea where the land curves inwards. Gulf, a part of the sea nearly surrounded with land. Sea, a large body of salty water that is smaller than an ocean and partly or completely surrounded by land. Example of sea is Black Sea between Asia and Europe. In map of India, you will find Bay of Bengal near Bangladesh. Similarly, you will find Gulf of Kutch near Gujarat. Let's explore what are the circular lines in each map called, and do you know what the lines radiating out of the two poles are called? Hint, you studied them in the previous chapter, but here they are presented differently. In previous chapter, you have studied about latitude and longitude. Kindly refer and answer this question. Which hemisphere holds more water? In the map of the earth, you can see southern hemisphere holds more water. What do you think could be the approximate proportion of water to land in the northern hemisphere and in the southern hemisphere? Discuss in groups. If you see the map here, you will find water almost 60% and land almost 40%. In the southern hemisphere, you will find water almost 80% and land almost 20%. Then the ratio becomes 80 divided by 20 or 4 is to 1. Here the ratio becomes 60 divided by 40, that is 3 is to 2. If you see on the earth, water is to land ratio becomes that is 70% water and 30% land. We already know it. Are all the oceans connected with one another, or are there separations between them? If you see the map of the earth, you can see all oceans are connected to each other. So they are connected. Ocean life. You can see few pictures are given here. This is coral reef. This is a starfish on a sea anemone. A starfish on sea anemone. This is a sperm whale, mother and baby. This is a shark. These are dolphins. Shallow coral reef with colorful tropical fish. You can see picture of algae here. You can see emperor penguins. You can see here Bonaire sea turtle. The oceans together hold most of the water available on the planet. But this seawater is salty and unfit for consumption by most land animals, including humans. On the other hand, fresh water makes up a very small portion of the planet's water resources. It is found in glaciers, rivers, lakes, in the atmosphere, and also underground. The last is called groundwater. Think about it. If there is such abundance of water on the planet, why is there so much talk of water scarcity or a water crisis? What ways of saving water are you aware of? Which ones have you seen practiced at home, at your school, and in your village, town, or city? Oceans. On the world map in figure 2.3 on page 32, we can observe 5 oceans: the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, the Indian Ocean, the Arctic Ocean, and the Southern or Antarctic Ocean. Although we have listed 5 oceans, it is clear from the map that they are not really separate. The lines that divide them on the map are no more than conventions. The natural world does not follow such boundaries. Seawater, for example, constantly flows across different oceans, sustaining a rich diversity of marine life. Many plant and animal species can be found across multiple oceans. Marine related to or found in the oceans and seas. The marine flora includes tiny plants called algae and all kinds of seaweeds. The marine fauna consists of thousands of species of colorful fish, dolphins, whales, and countless mysterious deep sea creatures. Each part of the ocean, from the sunlit surface to the dark depth, has its own diverse life forms. Flora. the plant life of a particular region or period of time. Fauna, the animal life of a particular region or period of time. You can see five oceans here: Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, Arctic Ocean, Southern or Antarctic Ocean. You can also see continents here: North America, South America, Africa, Eurasia, Australia, Antarctica. Eurasia means Europe and Asia. Figure 2.3, the world map showing the five oceans, their conventional boundaries, and the continents. Let's explore. Locate the five oceans and, in the table below, mark the hemisphere or hemispheres they belong to. Pacific Ocean, you can see its extent in northern hemisphere as well as in southern hemisphere. So you have to tick here. Atlantic Ocean, you can see it's present in northern as well as southern hemisphere. Indian Ocean, you can see its existence in northern as well as in southern hemisphere. Southern Ocean, it is completely in the southern hemisphere. Arctic Ocean, it is completely in the northern hemisphere. It is visible on the map that Pacific Ocean is the largest of all, followed by Atlantic Ocean. The Indian Ocean is the third largest, while the Southern Ocean is the fourth, and the smallest one is the Arctic Ocean. Don't miss out. As the map of oceans makes clear, the main limits of the Indian Ocean are Asia to the north, Africa to the west, and Australia to the east, apart from the Southern Ocean in the south. On either side of India, we find two parts of the Indian Ocean: the Arabian Sea to the west and the Bay of Bengal to the east. Figure 2.4 on the right. This map of India is the same as figure 1.6, but with the addition of Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal. Also marked are India's two major groups of islands. See subsections on islands further below. You can see Arabian Sea here Bay of Bengal. You can see Lakshadweep Islands and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Oceans and disasters. Returning to the picture of the earth at the start of this chapter, you may have noticed white shapes across the globe. At the start of chapter, you have seen a picture, this one. You can see brown, blue and white things. Brown signifies land, blue signifies water bodies, and white signifies clouds. Did you guess what they are? They are large masses of clouds. Such clouds bring rain to the continents. For instance, the monsoon rains We in India expect every summer originate in the ocean. Without such rains, our agriculture and all life will suffer. But oceans often also give rise to storms, violent events with extreme rainfall or very strong winds, such as cyclones, which can cause widespread damage to coastal regions of the world. A tsunami is another natural disaster that originates in the ocean. It is a huge and powerful wave generally caused by a strong earthquake or a volcanic eruption at the bottom of the ocean. Tsunamis can travel thousands of kilometers and submerge coastal areas, causing widespread damage. Don't miss out. On 26 December 2004, India and another 13 countries around the Indian Ocean were struck by a powerful tsunami caused by an earthquake in Indonesia. More than 2 lakh people lost their lives. In India, the Andaman and Nicobar Islands see figure 2.4 above and also the subsection islands further below and the coast of Tamil Nadu and Kerala were severely affected and suffered much damage and loss of life. Such tsunamis are rare but very destructive. Luckily, they can often be detected before they hit a coast. Many countries collaborate in such early warning system. There is, in particular, an Indian Ocean tsunami warning system to which many countries, including India, contribute. This helps to take measures to protect lives and property. Events that leads to loss of life and property are handled under disaster management. India has its own National Disaster Management Authority to deal with all kinds of disaster. We will see more examples in the next chapter. Continents. Continents are visible on the map of oceans, figure 2.3. How many can you count? The answer is not so simple, as they can be counted in several ways. Depending on our choice, we may list any number of continents between 4 and 7. Here is why. North America and South America are generally considered to be two continents, but if seen as a single landmass, they can also be considered as one. Europe and Asia are generally considered as two continents, although the map makes it clear that they form a single landmass. For historical and cultural reasons, Europe's evolution has been very different from Asia's, which is why they can be seen as two continents. Geologists, however, often regard them as a single continent called Eurasia. Africa and Eurasia are generally regarded as two continents, but sometimes as one. Let us summarize the different counts in a table. Count the continents in alphabetical order. 4 continents: Africa, Eurasia, America, Antarctica, Australia. 5 continents: Africa, America, Antarctica, Australia, Eurasia. 6 continents: Africa, Antarctica, Australia, Eurasia, North America, South America. This is reflected in figure 2.3 on page 32. 7 continents: Africa, Antarctica, Asia, Australia, Europe, North America, South America. In practice, the last list of 7 continents is the one most widely adopted and used. Don't miss out. You may have seen the 5 Olympic rings, one of the symbols of the Olympic Games. They symbolize the gathering of sports people from all over the world. The rings were chosen to represent 5 inhabited continents: Africa, America, Asia, Australia, and Europe. Now let us look at the diagram on page 36, which is based on the list of 7 continents. It does not show their actual shape but their relative sizes. Let's explore. Counting the numbers of squares, name the largest continent and the smallest. If you count the numbers of a square, you will get here 17 square. Similarly, here 18 square, here 10, here 30, here 44, here 8, here 13. Then the largest continent will be Asia and the smallest one will be Australia. Which is larger, North America or South America? South America is larger than North America. Africa or North America? Africa is larger than North America. Antarctica or Australia? Antarctica is larger than Australia. Recolor the diagram by having single color for Europe and Asia and rename the result as Eurasia. Compare its size with South America's. You have to color Europe and Asia with single color and name it Eurasia and compare its size with South America's. Write down the list of continents from the smallest to the largest. Then you have to write Australia, then Europe, Antarctica, then North America, South America, Africa and Asia in increasing order of their size. Islands. If you have carefully observed the two maps earlier in this chapter, figure 2.2 and 2.3, you may have noticed that the continents do not include all land mass. Some smaller pieces of land are left out, surrounded by water on all sides. They are called islands. Continents are also surrounded by water, but because they are so large, they are not considered islands. There are lakhs of islands on the planet of very different sizes. Don't miss out. Greenland is the largest island in the world. Locate it on a globe or a map. You would have to add the areas of the 10 largest states of India to reach its size. India has more than 1300 small islands. Those include two major groups, Andaman and Nicobar Islands in the Bay of Bengal and Lakshadweep Islands in the Arabian Sea. See figure 2.4. Since 1981, the Indian Antarctica program has been exploring Antarctica, a continent with a very cold climate and harsh environment. See the white expanse at the bottom of figure 2.1, which is mostly ice. In 1983, India established its first scientific base station there, called Dakshin Gangotri. Two more bases were established later. About 40 teams of Indian scientists have conducted research in this faraway region, especially on the evolution of climate and environment. The settlement where the scientists live has a library and even a post office. Oceans and life. Oceans and continents are vital parts of the environment and affect most aspects of our lives, even if we do not notice it. We have mentioned that oceans send rain to the continents. This is part of the Earth's water cycle, which you will further study in science. Without oceans, for instance, there would be no rainfall. The earth would be a desert. Moreover, more than half of the world's oxygen is produced by the ocean's flora, which is why they are called the planet's lungs. The oceans, therefore, play a crucial role in regulating the climate and sustaining life on Earth. Oceans have deeply impacted humanity in many other ways. From early times, people have used oceans and seas to migrate to other regions, to trade in all kinds of goods, to conduct military campaigns, and as a source of food through fishing. Oceans have also nourished the cultures of coastal people all over the world. Almost all of them have tales and legends about the sea, sea gods and goddesses, sea monsters and treasures from the sea, the ocean's dangers, but also their blessings. Don't miss out. The United Nations has designated June 8 as World Ocean Day to remind us all of the major role the ocean plays in everyday life. It serves as the lungs of our planet, a major source of food and medicine, and a critical part of the biosphere. Scientific studies have shown how the oceans are polluted by human activity. We throw several million tons of plastic waste into the ocean every year, choking marine life. There are several other forms of pollution. As a result, the marine environment is under threat. Overfishing, excessive fishing is another cause for the decline of marine life. It is our collective responsibility to protect oceans for the future of the planet and of humanity. Before we move on, the Earth's surface has vast water bodies called oceans and large land masses called continents. Oceans are interconnected. Continents may be counted in various ways. The most common count is 7. The northern hemisphere has more land than the southern hemisphere. Oceans support all kinds of marine life and play a critical role in the world climate. They are now seriously affected by human activity and need our collective protection. Questions, activities, and projects. 1. Explain the following terms. A. Continent. B. Ocean. C. Island. 2. Let us draw. Without looking at the maps in this chapter, draw the continents freehand on a sheet of paper and color them. Then compare your drawing with the map of oceans and continents in the chapter. 3. Let us do. On the outline map of the world given below, label all the continents and oceans. 4th, solve this crossword. Directions are given here. For more videos, you can subscribe NCERT video. Thank you.